Joining us are NEET MDS aspirants who have faced logistical hurdles and administrative mishaps, shedding light on the urgent need for corrective action. So, this is an anonymous interview, so none of our panelists' names are being shared. So, we have numbered them all. So, the numbers are visible on your screens, right below their names. Below their visuals. So, starting off is we have my first question is like how did this all start? We know the need for postponement came up. Who started it? Who took this drive ahead? So can we get number one to answer us?
So what essentially happened is that in December, NMC, which is the counselorly body for the MBBS students, released a notification that they have postponed the exam for the COVID batch of 2018 back to July, and the eligibility has been extended to August. So given how NEET MDS and NEET PG has always been conducted together, the NEET MDS aspirants all waited for a similar response from our concerned authorities. So from December till the end of January, we kept waiting for some communication from the said bodies. And when they did release the notice, they said that the exam will be conducted in 18th of March and the eligibility criteria will go to 31st of March, essentially rendering thousands of the 2018 COVID batch of BDS interns ineligible. So in response to that, a small group of students gathered on Telegram and they successfully sent a student representation to the ministry, which was not accepted well by the ministry, and they were sent back without any redressal of their concerns. Following which, me and I personally was scrolling through Twitter to see what's happening when I accidentally joined the Telegram group where the representative students and the team were already present in a small group. And after a few discussions, we all came to the conclusion that maybe the only way to approach this is to approach the Supreme Court of India. And suddenly there were around 1,000 students who made a fresh group where our only objective was to launch a court case. But you have to know that none of us have any idea about anything legal or how to set up a court case or whom to approach or where to go. It's just a bunch of freshly passed out students. After which, my friend number two and some other students also connected with me since they had all the documentation ready, all the grievances ready, which were used for the student representation. So I could probably ask my colleague number two to tell us what transpired after that.
Go on.
So initially हम लोगों ने काफी बच्चों ने बोला कि हम लोग एलिजिबल नहीं है एग्जाम के लिए, और हम लोगों का मेन कंसर्न था कि जब से नीट पीजी पोस्टपोन हुआ था 7 जनवरी को, तो ऐसा एक हवा माहौल बन गया कोचिंग सेंटर में भी कि नीट एमडीएस भी पोस्टपोन हो जाएगा, क्योंकि जब से नीट शुरू हुआ है 2017 से दोनों एग्जाम साथ में ही होते हैं एक महीने के अंदर। तो हम लोग ने भी सोचा, लेकिन बहुत वेट किए। 20 जन तक बहुत सारे ट्विटर में मेल में मिनिस्ट्री को टैग किया गया कि प्लीज क्लियरिफाई कीजिए कि हमारा एग्जाम पोस्टपोन होगा कि नहीं। तो मिनिस्ट्री ने 7 जनवरी से लेकर 20 जनवरी तक का टाइम लिया। फिर 20 जनवरी में मिनिस्ट्री ने बोला कि तुम्हारा एग्जाम 18 मार्च को होगा। तो पूरा डेंटल फैटर्निटी में ही एक थोड़ा सैड माहौल था, दुख का माहौल था कि क्यों हो रहा है हमारे साथ, जबकि नीट पीजी को पोस्टपोन कर दिया गया। उन लोगों को एलिजिबिलिटी अगस्त तक दिया गया। उन लोगों को एग्जाम के 6 महीने पहले बोला गया कि तुम लोग अच्छे से पढ़ो, एग्जाम दो, लेकिन हमारे साथ ये नहीं हुआ। तो उसके बाद हम लोग तो इनिशियली कोर्ट केस के बारे में ऑब्वियसली नहीं सोचे थे। इनिशियली हमने बहुत सारे मेल लिखे, बहुत सारे रिप्रेजेंटेटिव गए। आई थिंक 30 जनवरी को भी मिनिस्ट्री से मिले थे हम लोग के बच्चे। फिर मिनिस्ट्री से रिप्लाई आया कि हम लोग अर्ली काउंसलिंग करा देंगे। मतलब हम लोग ग्रीवेंसेस को एड्रेस नहीं किया गया, दे डिड नॉट एड्रेस। उसके बाद हम लोग फिर से मिल के देखे कि क्या सीन है, मतलब पिछले साल में क्या हुआ। तो हम लोग को आइडिया आया था कि इसके रिगार्डिंग कोर्ट केस भी हो सकता है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट या हाई कोर्ट में। तो हम लोग फिर धीरे धीरे सब बच्चे मिले, जो जो लॉयर हैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट के, हाई कोर्ट के, उससे कांटेक्ट हुआ। तो उस समय सुमंत मोकला करके एडवोकेट सुमंत मोकला सुप्रीम कोर्ट के AOR है, उनसे मुलाकात हुआ। तो उन्होंने बोला कि क्या क्या करना होता है फाइलिंग के लिए, कैसे फाइलिंग होता है। फिर हम भी थोड़ा देखें, तो उसके बाद बच्चे जो खुद से आगे आए, कुछ बच्चे कि हम पेटिशनर्स बनना चाहते हैं, तो उन्होंने भी अपना नाम, एड्रेस, ID प्रूफ सब दिया हमको एक एक करके। फिर मैंने वो नोकला सर को भेजा, तो उन्होंने एक पेटिशन बनाया, बना के 8 फरवरी या 7 फरवरी को फाइलिंग किया सुप्रीम कोर्ट में। उसके बाद धीरे धीरे बच्चे जुटते गए, इनिशियली बहुत कम बच्चे थे, उसके बाद मूवमेंट बढ़ता गया। और मेन कंसर्न हम लोगों का यही था कि हम लोगों का भी एग्जाम आगे किया जाए, पोस्टपोन किया जाए नीट PG के साथ, हम लोग को भी थोड़ा टाइम दिया जाए और एलिजिबिलिटी बढ़ाया जाए, क्योंकि पिछले साल भी यही हुआ था। तो इसके बाद हम लोग सीनियर एडवोकेट के तलाश में इधर उधर थोड़ा कांटेक्ट करने की कोशिश किए। फिर हमने सीनियर एडवोकेट को कैसे कांटेक्ट किया, माय फ्रेंड वन विल टेल।
तो हम लोग काफी सर्च के बाद हमें कुछ सीनियर एडवोकेट्स के नंबर दिए गए विद जीरो गाइडलाइंस एज टू हाउ टू अप्रोच अ सीनियर एडवोकेट। जो हमारे साथ नुकला सर थे, उन्होंने समझाया कि मैं AOR हूँ, पर आपको सुप्रीम कोर्ट में नेशनल लेवल का केस लड़ना है, पहले आपको एक सीनियर लॉयर को कन्विंस करना है। सो इस पिक्चर में आके अब हमें समझ में आया कि इट्स नॉट इजी टू अप्रोच देम। उनकी फी स्ट्रक्चर होती है, उनको हमें कन्विंस करना पड़ेगा एक प्रो बोनो केस के लिए, क्योंकि हमारे स्टूडेंट्स की आबादी बहुत कम थी और हमारे पास कोई बैकिंग नहीं है किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का, कोई गाइडेंस नहीं है, कोई सीनियर्स नहीं है। सो आफ्टर अ लॉट ऑफ सर्च हम लोगों ने कुछ सीनियर लॉयर्स के ऑफिस में कॉन्टैक्ट किया और एक दो लॉयर्स के नंबर हमारे पास आए। सो मी एंड माई कलीग नंबर 2 वी फ्रेम्ड अ मैसेज और हमने सबको एक एक लिटरली व्हाट्सएप में मैसेज डाला, जिनका हमें थैंकफुली रिप्लाई आया। और फिर हमारी गूगल मीट्स हुई विच वाज वेरी फ्राइटनिंग फॉर अस, क्योंकि हमने लाइफ में सिर्फ इन लॉयर्स के बारे में किताबों में पढ़ा है और टीवी पे देखा है। So it was very frightening for us to be sitting in a meeting with such big lawyers, but we had to put our concerns to them because that was our only fighting chance in this picture. तो थैंकफुली हमारी बात कॉलिन सर से जब हुई, हमें लगा कि सर ने हमारा इशू बहुत ही गौर से सुना। ही showed us empathy and he understood what our issue was and what our concerns were. And after which he gave us a green signal कि हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. That's how we got Colin sir on board, and we convinced him that it is very important that we move forward quickly and file for an urgent appeal. So yes, that's how we got there.
Was there any added guidance, support, or organization backing you all when you started off? Not now, when you started off.
No, it's all us. हम लोग ही एक दूसरे से डिस्कशन करके ही सब कुछ किया।
So how was it like for finding 11 different petitioners for this case? Did you have to convince somebody? Did people turn up to you? And did you all do some rough survey to get deep into this matter?
The biggest
कॉन्विंस किसी को नहीं करना पड़ा, क्योंकि सबको लगा कि बहुत बड़ा इन्वेस्टिस हो रहा है, तो बच्चे खुद ही आगे से आए। There was no hurdle to find the petitioners. Even हम लोगों के पास तो बहुत सारे petitioners थे, लेकिन हमारे लॉयर ने सजेस्ट किया कि 11 will be enough. और बाकी
जी number one, go on.
Okay, so essentially we as number 2 was saying that we had excess of petitioners. We had a separate spare list ready, and we charted it down to 7 states and 11 petitioners. What was the most important turning point in our understanding of the issue was when we were having a meeting with our AOR, Advocate Nukla, who upon discussion with him, who kind of prompted us to do a rough survey amidst the students. What was interesting that transpired during this suggestion was that my friend number 2 and me, we arrived at the conclusion that if we can collect rough internship rosters from our colleagues who are in the student groups, even if we locate one college which is ineligible, the whole cluster remains ineligible, right? So if we received a college from, let's say, Kanpur, if that is ineligible, we could chart it back to the entire university which was ineligible under that cluster, which is how we arrived at a rough estimate of our problem, and it gave us more confidence that it is a legitimate issue because it is beyond the capacity of an average student to be surveying more than 300 colleges across India. And in this process, we also realized how tedious and time consuming the process is to even classify a rough survey data. So it is something which DCI should have done, and we still are not seeing an official data chart. Even our students made a rough survey chart. So where is the official chart is something which still eludes the entire problem.
So what about the financial aspects when you were contacting the lawyers and all? So what were the challenges you all faced for the in the financial no in the money area? How did you all get money to pay lawyers? I think I'll go with
इनिशियली हम लोगों को
number
सुनने
three.
में मिला है कि
Answer this.
Number
Uh,
number three.
yes, yes. So what happened was when initially the movement was very early, right? We didn't have many students in our campaign, right? So what we did was we kind of told students to give whatever they can, even if it is a 50 rupee or a 100 rupee, that will help because obviously that is going to help us. And the reason why we did that and we didn't approach any organization for funding was because we as a student wanted to be there in the public so that we can have a trust level with the students whom we are fighting for. So the process was like we made an account and we kind of made it very public. All the details were very public. We collected the screenshots of the payment. We matched the transaction IDs as well, and we posted it on public platforms so that everyone can check that there is no mismatch in the fund collection. And it was a very tedious process because collecting 800 transaction IDs, 800 screenshots, and compiling it, it was a very tedious process and convincing people to, stand for us, And we even told them that we as a student, we will share the PG seats with you guys only. We'll be in your college only. So that was the point that the trust began to, come in. And it was a very tedious process, to be honest. Raising a lump sum amount was a very tedious process because convincing students and compiling the data was the most important part because we wanted full transparency in this process. That was the thing. That was the thing.
So coming to the most important question and what people, don't know, why should NEET MDS be postponed? Why should it be postponed? Why should the exam be postponed? Can I get number 3 to answer this, please?
Yes, so the story begins in 2021. Let me just reframe all of the things and all of the aspects. It started in the COVID era, right, where authorities were not thinking about the people who were fighting in COVID, who were standing with us in COVID, the doctors who were there. So it started there. So saga begins from 2020 to 20 and 21, where they were not incorporating ineligible interns, and slowly they started incorporating ineligible interns. And last year, the High Court directive was that incorporate ineligible students prior to the exam and give them sufficient time. But this year, they didn't incorporate the ineligible interns. The majority of the ineligible interns are finishing their internship in August and September, right? So the saga begins from there, and we need postponement because 10 days prior to the exam, you're making someone eligible. What is going on in their mind? That 10 days before, how can a student prepare the subjects, 19 subjects? Right. First, we fought for ineligibility. Now we are fighting for postponement because it is the need of the hour. Making someone eligible 10 days prior to the exam, a national level exam, is just an injustice decision. And authorities, on the other hand, were incompetent. Like NMC conducted a survey in December, but TCI didn't. When we approached to the court, they said that ministry is seeking data on 20th February. Despite approaching ministry prior, like we approached ministry in January on this issue, but they were not bothered about it. And 10 days prior, they are making some people, some students eligible. It is clear injustice to the students.
I think number one can add on more to this.
So, also adding on to what number three said, that first of all, the bigger chunk of the ineligible interns, because in short, we had the 2018 batch or all the batches coming after the COVID time have suffered a 7 to 9 month delay in their training process. So, just a last minute band-aid measure to make students eligible till June and ignoring the majority of the students who are still outside the June cutoff. The June cutoff is basically a band-aid where they attempted to show some vague addressal to our issue, to our grievance, by deliberately discouraging those students also from appearing in the exam, because had they even decided to increase the eligibility to June, why did they wait for another 2 weeks after the court order? They could have done it right away. At least those students could have the newly made eligible students who are merely a total sum of, let's say, 1,000, right? And most of them will not be able to apply or travel or book a ticket because they are releasing the admit card on the 15th. How do you expect a student from a poor background to be spending thousands for an exam he or she is essentially unprepared for? None of this makes any sense. And what is even more fickle about the issue is that when the Supreme Court has given a favorable order for the students on 21st of Feb, they stalled us for another 2 weeks until we lost hopes, and our student lawyer went to the Supreme Court on the 7th of March and filed the MA. And the minute it was made public on live law, they released this notice of increased eligibility till June with no edit window, 3 days of registration time, no choice center, and admit card that will be released on 15th. It's like a Christmas surprise that nobody likes. So what is a student supposed to do? Most of them, if they even set off their journey, they will reach after the exam. So what is their motive in all this is something we're all confused about.
Can I go to number 7 for more information?
As number one said, that it was completely injustice that they suddenly just increased the eligibility to the June. And first of all, when we filed the case, there was two demands. First was कि parity होनी चाहिए दोनों एग्जाम में. Second was eligibility अगस्त तक होनी चाहिए, and none of them were met. And out of nowhere, they are saying that most of the interns will get eligible by June, so we are increasing the eligibility to the June. Like, I am an intern and I am not eligible. And only 2 days prior to exam, they are releasing the admit card. 2-3 of my friends, they are saying that they will end up reaching the exam centers on the evening of exam. What are they trying to do? I don't understand. This is
Now, can I get number 2 to also put in his words?
सी जो मेन कॉन्सर्न है हम लोगों का है कि अगर मतलब मिनिस्ट्री अगर एकेडमिक सेशन जुलाई के बाद ही शुरू करेगी, तो अगर एग्जाम पोस्टपोन करने से 500, 1000, 1500 कोई भी नंबर हो, उन बच्चों को थोड़ा फायदा होगा, तो उसमें कोई बुराई नहीं है. तो मेन कॉन्सर्न कि उन लोगों को थोड़ा प्रिपरेशन टाइम भी मिल जाएगा. यही बात हम लोग कोर्ट में भी रखे, पिछला साल भी रखा गया था. तो कोर्ट ने बोला था पिछला साल कि नेक्स्ट ईयर से इसको रेक्टिफाई किया जाना चाहिए, बट मिनिस्ट्री इज नॉट डूइंग एनीथिंग. ऑल्सो हमने डीसीआई के भी बहुत सारे मेंबर को बोला, उन्होंने भी स्टेट ऑफ इसको इग्नोर कर दिया. तो अगर हम लोग मार्च में एग्जाम देके कोई भी नंबर हो, 500, 1000, 1500, मार्च में एग्जाम देके अगर बच्चे जुलाई तक बैठे रहेंगे, तो एग्जाम को क्यों जून में नहीं लिया जा सकता? अगर कुछ बच्चे पढ़ लेंगे, अच्छे एग्जाम देंगे, तो किसका क्या बुरा होगा? इट्स बियॉन्ड अस.
Also,
Yeah.
इसमें I would like to add on that there is this aspect that हमेशा से ही ऑल इंडिया के सारे स्पेशलिस्ट को एक ही काउंसलिंग कमेटी और एक ही पोर्टल से अंदर लिया जाता है, क्योंकि हम लोगों की ट्रेनिंग प्रोसेसेस इंटरलिंक्ड होती हैं. जो एमडीएस की तरफ से, जो नीट एमडीएस की तरफ से जो स्पेशलिस्ट जो सिलेक्ट हो रहे हैं और जो नीट पीजी से आ रहे हैं, ये दोनों कोर्सेज से स्पेशलिस्ट को हमेशा इकट्ठा सिस्टम के अंदर लिया जाता है. इसका कुछ लॉजिक है मेडिकल ट्रेनिंग में कि एक पेशेंट आए तो उसको मल्टी स्पेशलिटी टीम उसको ट्रीट करती है. तो आप हमारी एग्जाम मार्च 18 को करा के इतने बच्चों का लॉस करके, आप जिन्होंने एग्जाम दिए हैं उनको भी अगर आप साल के अंत तक बिठा रहे हो, जब तक एमबीबीएस के बच्चों का एग्जाम नहीं हो जाता, तो इस बात का क्या लॉजिक है? इसमें किसी का फायदा नहीं हो रहा है, सिर्फ नुकसान हो रहा है. हर उस बच्चे का नुकसान हो रहा है जो इस एग्जाम के लिए बैठेगा. तो हम चाहते हैं कि एग्जाम पीछे किया जाए और एलिजिबिलिटी इंक्रीज की जाए, क्योंकि हर स्टूडेंट का हक है एग्जाम देना. ये उसकी लाइफ का सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट एग्जाम है. कभी किसी बच्चे को जिसने अपनी 12th क्लास पास की है, उसको आप बोलोगे कि आप जेईई मेन या नीट यूजी नहीं दे सकते इस साल? उसी लेवल का अन्याय ये हमारे साथ हो रहा है. नॉट टू मेंशन हमारी ट्रेनिंग पीरियड्स ऑलरेडी एक्सटेंड हो चुकी हैं कोविड की वजह से. तो अगर एक बच्चा अगर पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट स्पेशलिस्ट बनना चाहता है, तो कुल मिला के हमारी ट्रेनिंग पीरियड ऑलरेडी 9.5 ईयर्स की हो चुकी है. उसके ऊपर से अगर आप 2 साल का और हमारे लिए स्टैग्नेशन क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, तो ये बहुत गलत हो रहा है हमारे साथ.
Right.
और हमने कभी सेपरेट काउंसलिंग की डिमांड
Sorry,
Go on, go on, go on. Who's
I would
coming?
like
हाँ
to,
मैंने बोला था.
Who's coming?
number 6.
Please come in, please come in. Number 6.
I would like to draw your attention to two things. One is parity. क्लास 12 जब हम लोग पास किया, हम लोग कॉलेज में गए. आउट ऑफ 4 years ऑफ आवर कोर्स, 3 years हम लोग मेडिकल सब्जेक्ट पढ़ते हैं. तो हमारा जो 75% जो भी हमारा पूरा कॉलेज का टाइम होता है वो सब मेडिकल सब्जेक्ट में आ जाता है. सेकेंडली, पिछले 4 सालों से इस साल जो ऐसा हुआ है, कोर्ट के सारे ऑर्डर्स को इन्होंने नल एंड वॉइड कर दिया. फॉर एग्जाम्पल 2021 में एक देवराज समैंथा वर्सेस एमसीसी का हुआ था, और उस साल नीट एमडीएस का एग्जाम अलग हो गया था और बच्चों को 10 महीना वेट करना पड़ा था. उस स्टेट पे जज ने, हमारे सीजीआई ने कमेंट भी किया था कि इट इज अ जोक ऑफ कंट्री व्हेन पेशेंट्स आर डाइंग, और आप लोग इतने डॉक्टर्स की शॉर्टेज है और आप लोग अभी तक रिलीज नहीं किए हो. उस वक्त इन्होंने बोला था कि कॉमन काउंसलिंग होगी. 2021 पे फिर एक और मद्रास हाईकोर्ट में केस हुआ था, वेरापल्लाई रमेश. वहां पर उन्होंने कहा था कि जब भी ये एग्जाम हो नेक्स्ट ईयर से, सेंटर्स आपको विद इन द स्टेट ही देना चाहिए. 2022 में फिर शिवम सत्यार्थी वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया का केस हुआ था, जिसके कारण नीट एमडीएस को एग्जाम के सिर्फ 2 वीक पहले पोस्टपोन किया गया था, ये कहते हुए कि दोनों कोर्स सिमिलर है और दोनों के बीच में पूरी पैरिटी होनी चाहिए. लास्ट ईयर अगेन 2023 में नीट पीजी का जब एक केस किया था सुप्रीम कोर्ट में, तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये स्ट्रिक्ट गाइडलाइंस दिया था कि अगली साल से इज डन विद दिस केसेस एंड ही वांट्स एनबीई टू कंडक्ट प्रॉपर सर्वे एंड देन कंडक्ट दिस एग्जामिनेशन. एनबीई ने दिसंबर में अपना सर्वे कर लिया, पर डीसीआई अभी नहीं किया. फिर इस साल भी जब 2024 में हम कोर्ट में गए, 7 दिन के अंदर ऑर्डर आना था, 16 डेज तक हम वेट करते रहे, एंड ऑल ऑफ अ सडन अली बाबा का दरवाजा खुल गया एंड दे सेड या 30 जून, मतलब मेजोरिटी के 10% को आप अभी एलिजिबल कर रहे हो और मेजोरिटी अभी भी इनएलिजिबल है. तो लीगली एक्सपेक्ट से भी देखें तो 4 साल का कोर्ट ऑर्डर इस साल पूरे वायलेट हो रहे हैं.
Right. So it's a
सब
contempt.
वायलेट हो रहे हैं.
So many of you have met many people in power, many officers, many politicians. So I was told number 4 has went and approached and met Shashi Tharoor, who later tweeted on this issue. So how was it meeting him, and how was his reaction to this issue? Can we have 4 to respond, please?
Yeah, well, I thought of meeting sir to try and move things along in our favor. Me and my friends were successful in getting a 5-minute window to meet him and apprise him of our situation. And I'm really grateful that he took 5 minutes of his very busy schedule and he listened very patiently to our problems. He was very forthcoming and reassured that he will try and intervene on our behalf. Later, we got to know through some back channels that Sir did indeed talk to those at the ministry, but was met with a cold response. He did tweet on our behalf, which I think raised some awareness about this issue among those in the dark, and also was a great help in amplifying our voices. Later, I contacted the office of Suresh Gopi, who is the proposed BJP candidate of Trishul, His office also promised us help, but they could not do much to view our situation as it is already election time and ministers are all camping at their respective constituencies. Yeah.
Also, I think number three met the UP Health Minister Brajesh Pathak. So how was that? What did he had to tell? Because he comes from the same ruling party, BJP.
Yes, yes. We arranged 5 or 6 students. We arranged 5 or 6 representatives on our behalf, and we booked an appointment on 7th in the morning, 9 a.m. at his residence. We were not addressed properly. We were given only 2 or 3 minutes to explain our issues, and then he took our file and our grievances, and he said we'll look into this matter as in the evening, and we'll send your grievances to the ministry as well. So that was the only response we got from him. At we met our students were very like they told him every aspect of it, but he was like he just give us the file and we'll look into it and we'll inform the ministry about it.
So also, I think number one met Dr. Pawar, the MOS. What was her reaction like?
So myself and around 6 to 7 students from dental colleges in Nasik, we met Dr. Bharti Pawar with great hopes because she has always been, she herself is a doctor and she has been very vocal about advocating for especially injustices revolving around these exams. And we approached her and we told her that, you're like a mother to us and you're also a doctor. So we're hoping you will listen to our pleas and give us some respite because this is gross injustice against the whole batch of 2018 at large. But what was so frightening about this picture was, and this is happening on the 6th, right? So we still had some hopes from the ministry after the meeting with the FODA representative. So we were still hoping maybe a diplomatic route will, give us the outcome that we desired. But when we started opening a file and explaining her our issues, there was no window of opportunity for us to even barely put up our concerns because she was ready with guns loaded. She fired at us, she shot us down, she called us lazy, and she said that it's not a big deal if you miss one attempt, life goes on, you go ahead and give the other attempt and you waste an year. And she said that we cannot sit at home idle for 2 years, right? If we miss this attempt, then our admissions will take place only in the December of 2025. And dentistry is a field where there are not many job opportunities. So for us, this exam is a window and a legitimate career opportunity, and not to mention how the market is saturated. So only a specialist can be doing well in the market. So she completely shot us down, and her solution to our problem was कि बेटा हम आपकी स्टेट हॉस्पिटल में भर्ती करा देंगे, आप अपना नाम नंबर दे दो, कोई आइडल बैठने की जरूरत नहीं है, which was downright insulting. Most of the girls were crying, the boys were shocked. At some point, we confronted her regarding the error in the data which was presented on the health minister's office, which is the official policy making table. It is supposed to be a sanctious place where fair decisions are being made. Why, everything they do affects thousands of student doctors across the country. So when we've confronted her about the discrepancy of 9,000 students, she said that most students leave the college because they don't like hostel food, or some students take a vacation. None of her answers satisfied us. It was definitely insulting. And after the conversation with her, she closed, while she asked us to click a picture, and she closed the conversation with saying that बेटा जो करना है कर लो, 18 मार्च को एग्जाम होगा, पेन पेपर तैयार रखो. That is how she that was a closing remark regarding the issue. At that point, we realized that there is no hope. We came back, we informed our lawyers that we should be filing our MA the following day. So that's what happened.
You spoke about the data which she gave, which was given to the ministry, fake data basically. We also did a report on the data scandal happening at the DCI. So how is DCI failing to do their job? Can five go on in this? Number five.
Actually, as we can see that there is a National Medical Commission for MBBS students. They acted in December 23 only. They tackled this issue that most of our students are being ineligible. So they conducted a survey in December, and the NEET PG was scheduled in the March. So 3 months before the exam, they conducted the survey and they extended the eligibility till August, and they also postponed the exam till July. And all this happened prior to 6 months. Like MBBS students got 6 months of preparation time, and they also got increased eligibility. While on the other hand, Dental Council of India, which is a regulating body for all the dentists all over India, they didn't they didn't conduct any kind of survey, and they didn't tackle any of this issue despite High Court of Telangana orders, which in 2023 Telangana High Court ordered that there should be enough preparation time given to the students, and all of the students should be included in the examination, and the ministry should take appropriate steps and well within the time so that this issue doesn't arise anymore. But DCI and ministry failed to do so. And up until 4th of March, when we reached the ministry office, they didn't have any kind of data from DCI. In front of our student representatives, they called the DCI officials and they asked for the data. DCI officials sent some data sheet, and upon looking at the data sheet, there is some 6,000 students which they have written that they are getting eligible in March 2024. But according to me, so many students can't clear their internships. Like 6,000 is a big number. They can't clear their internship in 1 month. So according to us, this is a data of past 5 months, like October, November, December, Jan, Feb, and they have they have some intentions to hide this thing from ministry, because ministry is the policy maker in this, and they have to take the decision on the basis of it. So they have deliberately put 6,000 in under March, and below that in April column they have only mentioned 200 students. So that it's a misrepresentation of data, we must say. Yeah.
So, at the DCI, you all spoke to someone. Who was that? Who was responding to you at the DCI? Can I go to number 7 for this?
Yes, actually मैंने विकास चावड़ा सर हैं जो कि DCI के secretary है, representative है. He is the one who talks to ministry about the dates, and I got in touch with him on the call, and on the call he was positive about it. उनको पहले मैंने बोला that he don't understand the issue, that what is actually happening. मैंने उनको डिटेल में सब समझाया that most of the students are getting eligible by August. अगर आप मार्च में पेपर लेते हैं तो that makes no sense, because स्टूडेंट को 6 महीने फ्री बैठना पड़ेगा, फालतू बैठना पड़ेगा. And then he understood this कि okay, you are saying it right, this makes a sense. At the end also, when I was cutting the call, I told him that please sir, look into it. I folded hand. I told this कि सर मैं आपके आगे हाथ जोड़ती हूँ, सर प्लीज आप ढंग से प्लीज एक बार इसको करिएगा, आप ही रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे मिनिस्टर के आगे. एंड ही टोल्ड मी दैट no, there is no need to fold your hands. What you are saying makes complete sense, and we will convey this message to the ministry. And after few days, we read in the news article that whatever he said on the call to me, उसका completely opposite उन्होंने आर्टिकल में बोला है. that in the ministry he said that हम बिल्कुल firm है हमारे एग्जाम को लेकर के, that we will take exam on March. Max to max we can do is we can just increase the eligibility to the June. That is it. But like completely opposite what he said to the call and what he said in the ministry.
Also, to add on to what number 7 has said, that the most baffling thing thousands of students experience, because at some point all the students got so stressed out despite the Supreme Court ordering in our favor, that nothing is coming out, right? So we are all ringing up the helplines, we're asking them what is going on, we have a Supreme Court order, are you going to do something for our students? To which either they will give diplomatic answers, and especially the DCI secretary kept repeatedly picking up calls from these very extremely distressed students on the verge of mental breakdown. And he sounded like somebody who does not even know the basics of dentistry, because everything he says will be direct contradiction to anything dental related, right? Because if he's a policy maker, if he's a secretary, if he's the voice of all these students, he clearly showed no competence in even knowing the basic talking points. So after looking into that, we also found out, because most of us appealed to him saying, "Sir, we are your juniors. Please look after us. You know how the system is. You know how our training is. You know what happens in our colleges." And later on, to our amusement, we find out that he is not a dentist. He's a postal officer who has zero basis of understanding of what is going on with our students, but he made it a point to pick up every call and stress out every student with the contradictory solutions he kept offering us, which made no sense to either any of us. Students from GDC Srinagar till students from GDC Trivandrum have been calling him, messaging him, but he will attend the call and go on to argue with each and every student, which we all found to be very, very excruciatingly stressful and frankly confusing.
So
And somewhere ministry was in support also. We got internal information that most of them were in the support also in the postponement. I don't know.
Mixed signals till the last minute. They deliberately stalled us. They stalled us till the last minute, till we gave up every last hope. They stalled us for 2 weeks. We could not. We are approaching the court. We are getting a hearing 2 days before the whole exam. So there has definitely been a lot of calculated stalling that has happened in this picture, which is very unfortunate to be done to the healthcare workers of this country. You are hurting yourselves by hurting us.
right. When I was talking about, when we tried to ask number 5 about how it was to to go to the health minister's office and speak to the secretary, I think there was some glitch there, so we couldn't get that point. So also we're talking about how other organizations came in, like FODA and others. So can you tell us how they came in and how you went to the home health ministry's office? Can you just repeat everything again? Number 5.
Yeah, actually, we were running here and there for support, and before 4th of March, we personally went to ministry twice or thrice, and we were not allowed entry inside because they need passes and there is security, obviously. So we were running here and there in search of support, and luckily on night of 3rd of March, we were contacted by FODA and NMO officials, and they told us to meet them. We student representative met them in their offices, and they scheduled an appointment with the health minister's office. So it happened and in an overnight, like on 3rd March night, they contacted us, and on 4th of March we were inside the ministry. So it just happened in a click, and it was a very positive progress for us. So Dr. Survesh Pandey sir from FODA, that is Federation of Resident Doctors Association, and Dr. Aviral Mathur from NMO, that's National Medicos Organization, they helped us a lot, and they were the ones who scheduled an appointment for us inside the ministry. They escorted us, the students, they escorted us inside the ministry, and they scheduled our appointment. It happened. Yeah.
So now what's happening when they have increased the eligibility till of the internship completion till July 30th with the order on 7th March? What's happening with the test centers, and what is all the for the people who are going to freshly register? Are there enough test centers? Can 8 come in this, please? Number 8. Oh, can you hear me? Number 8.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Please go on.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to tell that this is an examination of national level importance. This is not a state level examination. Like earlier, we used to have state-wise different examination for post-graduation also. But now the NEET is in the power, so we see national level examination. So on the national level examination, we should have a exam center at least one in every state. But it was there always. Like in 2023 also, there was one exam center in every state. But this year, we are seeing that there is no examination center at least in like 4 states and 3 union territories. Especially 3 states in Northeast don't have any examination center. Those are Tripura, Sikkim, and Manipur. And in North India, in Himachal Pradesh, there is no examination center. The students of Himachal are forced to take examination center either in Jammu or in Delhi. So they have to travel like a 1 day journey or 2 day journey to go to the examination center, which they will get to know final decision on 15th March, not on before. So the examination is on 18 March and they have to reach by morning 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. Before that, they have to reach there. So how they will reach? This is like if the examination body wants us to give examination, they will not tell us at the end moment.
Right.
So this is a problem, and there are like no edit window also for these people. So if somebody is giving some mistaken thumbprint or some other basic information, if they go to examination center and there they see some misprinted things, it is normal. There is so many errors sometimes happen. So that's why every national level examination have a window of editing. This time they are not giving this edit window also to thousands of students, those who are like newly eligible. So this is a discrimination for those students, and this is a discrimination for like 4 state and 3 union territory students, those who are always giving exams from those states. So this is critically violence of fundamental rights of our Article 16 is violated here.
Right.
And yeah, this is the main problem. And even though there are many centers in many states, it has been reduced. Like in UP, there was always 5 centers. This time there is only 2 centers. And in Odisha, this is a funny thing. Odisha capital is the main center was always in Bhubaneswar because most of the dental colleges are there, but they are situated to Raurkela. Raurkela is like at least 400 kilometers from Bhubaneswar and at least 800 kilometers from most of the places of Odisha. This is like a joke for most of the students. That's why many of the students from Odisha, Tripura, and many Northeast students didn't apply for this exam this time because they cannot travel that much. Not every student is that much financially independent to travel thousands of kilometers, get accommodation there, and give the exam. Even when they don't know actually the center is where, because they will get to know on the 15th only. So this is not a indication of very important exam what the ministry is trying to say. They are just playing with the future of many students.
Right. So just talk about your mental health. What have you like? What are you going through in all these fights? How is it affecting your studies? How is it affecting your capabilities in the while giving exam? So can I get 7 to go on this number 7? I think you're on mute. If I'm right. Yeah, please go.
Am I audible? All right. I don't think so. पिछले 2 महीने से किसी का भी mental state stable है NEET MDS के students का, because from January 7 जब से NEET PG का notice आया है till the 25 we were in the middle कि क्या होगा कब होगा exam, we don't know anything, and then suddenly just 50 days before the exam we are getting the notice that from tomorrow your forms will be available. So we were in the dilemma कि most probably our exam will be also postponed. I got hundreds of messages from my friends that I'm getting panic attack. They are not able to breathe. They are crying all the time because their futures are on stake. Some of my seniors, in fact, they took a drop and they were preparing. Even the students who were preparing rigorously all year, this thing has disturbed their preparation like anything. And they are telling me कि हमारी तो preparation पूरी state पे आ गई just because of these 25 days of disturbance. उसके बाद में भी they took 16 days just to answer the Supreme Court order कि कब आप एलिजिबिलिटी बढ़ा रहे हैं, नहीं बढ़ा रहे हैं, आप एग्जाम पोस्टपोन कर रहे हैं, नहीं कर रहे हैं. Most of the students are facing anxiety. They can't sleep, they can't eat, they can't understand anything what is happening. I got a lot of DMs daily कि यार I'm not able to focus on my studies. I can't study. I can't. My parents are asking me कि मेरी पढ़ाई कैसी चल रही है, and they are telling कि मैं उन्हें कैसे आंसर करूं. How should I answer them? I am not able to face them. इतना इतना बुरा हालत है लोगों का. And I don't think so that there is any recovery for this. The only way out was कि आप एग्जाम को पोस्टपोन कीजिए, पैरिटी इक्वालिटी लाइए दोनों एग्जाम के बीच में, ताकि एक जस्टिस सर्व हो सके. डेंटल फिटर्निटी और मेडिकल फिटर्निटी में कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है, दोनों ही इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट है सोसाइटी के लिए. लेकिन फिर भी डेंटल वालों को इतना ज्यादा क्यों परेशान किया जा रहा है? जस्ट बिकॉज सम पीपल इन द मिनिस्ट्री थिंक्स कि हमारे को 18 मार्च को पेपर करवा देना चाहिए. हाँ ठीक है, चलो 30 जून तक हम एलिजिबिलिटी बढ़ा देते हैं. नेशनल लेवल एग्जाम के लिए उन्होंने एक हफ्ते पहले फॉर्म निकाल दिए. इससे ज्यादा अच्छा मैनेजमेंट हमारे स्कूल एग्जाम्स में होता था. इससे ज्यादा अच्छा मैनेजमेंट हमारे बोर्ड एग्जाम में होता था, जब हमारे को 15 दिन पहले पता पड़ जाता था कि सेंटर है कहाँ पे एग्जैक्टली. 2 दिन पहले तक हमारे को आइडिया ही नहीं है कि हम एग्जाम देने कहाँ जा रहे हैं. एंड मोस्ट ऑफ देम आर नॉट फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट ऑल्सो. They are still on their parents. They are just sitting and preparing for the paper. Now, how can you expect a non-financially independent student कि वो 1000 किलोमीटर तक ट्रेवल करे, उस एग्जॉस्टेड स्टेट में वो अपनी लाइफ का सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट एग्जाम लिखे, and you are just sitting in the AC rooms and giving orders like anything. Right. So this is a completely injustice with the dental students. Complete.
The health ministry has just put out a tweet regarding, replying to many media reports which criticize the health ministry for reducing the number of seats and taking away seats from the Northeast. What is your response to it? I'll go to number 2 for this. What is your response to the tweet? I think you read the tweet already.
The tweet is a lie because, as we all know it, when they opened the edit window for the second time, we have live testimonials and video recordings of students who are trying to fill centers, but they're not getting them. They have just copy pasted a few centers from their prospectus form, but that does not reveal the reality of what is happening to students in real time. Talk to the students to know what is happening in real time instead of aggressively covering our reality and our predicaments and ignoring us till the very last minute. Secondly, if they have opened the window again, they have made sure it's a deliberate discouragement for students to be appearing for the said exam. It is unacceptable that a student has to travel more than 1000 kilometers to appear for a national level exam when there are clear-cut guidelines regarding the distribution of centers. It is unacceptable for a student to be spending thousands and to be left in so much confusion and anxiety, and you reveal the center 2 days before the exam in the admit card, and you put them through so much stress and trauma. Not to mention, the students who are being newly made eligible were told about this 10 days before the most important exam of their lives. I'm sure even a unit exam in a school is given more notice period than the said exam. So this is absolutely unacceptable. This is deliberate. It's a mockery of the very interns who break their backs and treat thousands of patients in this glorious nation. Hurting us is hurting each one of you. So you may have the last laugh, but it's wrong to be doing this to us. This needs to stop with us, and this should never happen to another bunch of students who have gone through this harrowing training process.
Thank you so much, all of you, giving your time in this crucial time when you're fighting for your right, when you're fighting for not only your right, but thousands of students, right? And I wish you all the very best. Your hearing is on 15th in the Supreme Court.
So much.
I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.